important point I want everyone to pay attention to. And we sent down iron. It says in this verse that God sent down iron to the earth, which the meaning is that when people study the Quran, that iron could not be created by the earth. Rather, God says, we sent down iron from the earth. That is exactly what modern scientists today are telling us, that iron could not be produced by earth. The earth does not possess the type of energy, nor does our solar system, and that is exactly what the Quran is stating. Okay. So the question which I would like to raise in regards to this is, how did the author of the Quran even know that certain elements are not from earth? What would ever make him come to that conclusion? A man 1,400 years ago in the desert, if he were the author of the Quran, how would he have that type of information? Okay, let me move on to the next piece of evidence. Proof number, and this is going to be my last piece of evidence here, and then I'm going to give a summary. Today, we all know, and I think this is not a surprise for anyone, but the moon actually moves in an orbit, a circular path. We all know that. But the scientists also tell us today that the sun also has an orbit, which many people don't know. Yes, the sun, all the planets are revolving around the sun, yes, but the sun has an orbit in which it revolves around the center of the Milky Way galaxy. So both the sun and the moon have an orbit. This is what scientists have only recently discovered. Let me now point you to chapter 21, verse 33 of the Quran. It says over there, and he it is who has created the night and the day, the sun and the moon, each in an orbit floating. The Quran clearly states that the sun and the moon have an orbit. And that word falak, if you look in the Hans Weir dictionary, that word refers to like a woman's chest, a round woman's chest. So it talks about that the sun and moon have a circular orbit. So this is a statement which clearly agrees with modern science. Now someone may say, well, maybe the author of the Quran was referring that the sun and the moon were orbiting around the earth, like geocentrism. That's what he was meaning. My response to that is, but why didn't he say that? Why didn't the author of the Quran clearly and explicitly state, not according to your interpretation, but clearly state that the sun and the moon orbit around the earth? It does not state that. And anyway, so you would say, well, that's a coincidence. It's just an amazing coincidence that the author of the Quran didn't state that. Okay, but let me show you how that coincidence keeps happening in the Quran. Look at this verse over here. It says, inside chapter 39, verse 5, he coils the night upon the day and coils the day upon the night. Now, it's a little bit hard to visualize this, I understand. That word coil, basically, you can think of it as donut. He donuts the night upon the day and the day upon the night. Again, we're seeing that there is this roundness about the night and the day. You see? And basically the point over here, you can see that anyone who walks away from this verse, they are going to come up with a conclusion. Hey, you know what? There's something very circular about the earth. But that's okay. That's not the point I'm trying to make. My point here is, why didn't he say that the sun revolves around the day, the sun revolves around the earth, or the earth revolves around, the sun and the moon revolve around the earth, or something like that? Someone will say, well, that's another coincidence that he didn't mention geocentrism. And you will find that there's like 6 to 7 verses in which the author of the Quran was talking about the sun and the moon and its revolutions, but yet it never stated that they revolve around the earth. That's all coincidence, I suppose. Anyways, so my point is that this verse clearly agrees with modern science. The Quran says that the sun and the moon have an orbit, full stop. Don't add anything more to that. And that is exactly what we know about science today, that sun and moon have an orbit.